Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin Ashrafil Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Okay, we'll continue. This should be our final session, 4 words, and we were talking about the isim. Yeah, we're talking about the isim. So what did we do the last week, or what we have been doing for the last 4 lessons? We talked about the 4 characteristics of an isim. Yes, definite, indefinite, gender, number, and Irab. Yeah. So today, I just want to touch a bit more about what is definite, because so far all that we did, all that we called definite, were words that started with al and words that were proper names. Yeah, these were our 2 categories of words that we said is always definite. Yeah, so the ones that start with alif lam and the ones that are proper names. Then we went on to do gender. We talked about feminine and masculine and how in the Arabic language certain words were treated as masculine, certain words were treated as feminine. And we said that words that ended with ta mabuta, remember ta mabuta, the closed ta, is feminine. And then we had other endings that we added to that. We said alif ta'nis mabduda, the one that ends with alif and hamza. And then as well, the ones that end with, what's the other ending that is feminine, which is feminine. Can anybody tell me? One is alif mamduda, the other one is? Sister Bashira, would you know?
Alif Maksura.
Yes, alif maksura, alif ta'nih maksura. Yeah, maksura that shows that it is a feminine word. Alhamdulillah. Okay, then we went on to numbers. We'll have to talk a bit more about feminine, not just those. Okay, there are other words that are also feminine. And as long as we know what is feminine, then we know that if they are not feminine, then it will be masculine. Yeah. So we define the word masculine by elimination, a process of elimination. If it's not feminine, then it is masculine. Okay. Then we went on to do numbers. We said that numbers could be singular and plural, which is normal in any language. But in the Arabic language, we also had duals. Yes, we also had duals. So today we're going to talk a bit more about the plurals, yeah, and how you would treat the plurals grammatically. Yeah. And finally, our last topic will still be Irab, because I want to touch on what we call mamnu' min al-sarf, or what we, well, in Bayina, it's termed as partly flexible. Yes, partly flexible words are actually nouns that behave like fi'ils. Now, why do I say that? Because they cannot take tanween and they cannot take kasra. Yes, so partly flexible words are words that cannot take tanween and cannot take kasra, which sounds just like a fi'il. Yeah, because you don't have fi'ils that end in tanween, you don't have fi'ils that take kasra. Yeah, they can only be majzoom, they cannot be majroor. Yeah, okay. Okay, so now that drawing that I showed you, yes, that particular drawing that I showed you, I'm going to redraw it in another way. Yes, we know the 3 different types of words: noun, ismun, verb, fi'lun. Now, I use the term verb in a very wide sense, yes, because fi'lun in Arabic also contains the doer, whereas verbs in English, they don't mention the doer, yeah? So I use this in a broad sense. Then we have the particle or the half. Yes, these are the ones that are single letters, 2 letters, 3 letters. Yeah, and we call this sort of halves with meaning. Yes, half with meaning, because they're not the letters of the alphabet. They're not that sort of letter. This letter has meaning. Yeah, so that's the difference between the normal letter and this particular thing we call the particle. So our concentration tonight is the noun. Yeah, this is going to be a roadmap. Okay, this is going to be a roadmap. I'm not going to do all the details. If I did that, we'll be very exhausted by the end of the day. Yep. So what we do is we're going to do like something like a roadmap as to what we're going to do with isms. So we're going to take a look again at definite and indefinite and numbers and gender. And then finally, we're going to do our Irab. Okay, so let's look a bit more about definite, indefinite again. We call them ma'rifah when we know something, nakira when it is something that is common, yeah, in general. Then we looked at numbers and we saw singular, dual, and plural, yes. And we looked at plural because this was the interesting one. And we said there were two types, salim and broken. It's salim when the original word is still intact. It's broken when the original word is more or less rearranged. Okay, it looks different from the original word. So in both cases, we have, like in this case, masculine and feminine. And broken as well, we also have masculine and feminine. So we're going to look at this one. Then have a look at this one. Gender, we go back to muzakkar and mu'annas. Yeah, and for Irab, this is the longest. Sorry, we have to also address whether it's a true feminine or fake feminine. Okay. And for Irab, we look at something called declinable and indeclinable. Yeah, mu'arab or mabni. This is when you can see the endings changing. And this is when the word is fixed in its form. It doesn't change. The ends do not change. Okay. So in this case, it can fully change. You have an, in at the ends of u, a, i. Yes. Or dual, you have ani, aini, aini. And for plural, we have una, ina, ina. Yeah. This is what we mean by they can fully decline or deflect. Okay. Then there's something like I mentioned, the monominal sarf, when the isim behaves like a fi'il. Cannot accept tanwin, yeah, meaning it's light, and cannot accept kasra. Yeah. I put this in the corner and I said alamat, meaning that must be a way that we can tell whether something is marfu, remember, with the dhamma, or whether it's mansub with the fatha, and whether it's majroor with the kasra, yes, and whether it's light, yeah, whether there is tanwin, the n sound, the nun sound, yeah. So these are what we call the alamat, yeah. And there are two types of alamat, two types of signs, signs that you can see and signs that you cannot see, yeah, and we call them evident, implicit in English. But in Arabic, we call one zahir, the other one muqaddar. Yeah, one is zahir, the other one is muqaddar. Okay, zahir, I think you know this. This is in our language, and muqaddar as well. We've heard this many times. Yeah. Now, yes.
Can you repeat the alamat V?
The alamat. What about the alamat? You want me to repeat?
How can we say which one is Zohir and Muqaddar?
Okay. When we
Sister,
say
is
it,
there any screen being shared or you're just
oh
reading
yes,
it?
this the screen is being shared, isn't it, ladies?
I'm not able to
Yes.
see.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, it is being shared. You can't see the screen, is it?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
dear, Sister Sultana. Could you go back out and come in? You did that, is it? And it still can't see the screen. Okay. If she still can't see the screen, then I will have to go out and come in, and I'll have to call you, all of you again. Yeah. So let's hope it works, inshallah. So alamat, yes. Maybe the best way is for me to write this. Then maybe it's easier. Okay, when we talk about alamat, can you see the screen now, Sister Sultana?
No, sister.
No?
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, okay, good. So we have something called alamat. I'm sorry, this is a bit small. I should make it bigger. This should be maybe Usually we put it at 24, right? So we call it alamat, or in Arabic, we would write this as this. This is a plural, yes. Alamah is your singular. So these are the ones that we see at the end. These are the sounds that we hear at the end. Okay, alamat are the sounds that we hear at the end, like un, an, and in. If it's not light, remember, or u, a, and e. If it is light. Yes, you remember this part, Sister Ralin? Yeah. So this is
Yes.
your alamat. Yeah. So this would be your domatain, your kasratain, your your fathatain, your kasratain. Yeah. Those signs there. Yeah. And then this is for singular. This is for singular. Yeah. These are all for singular. So this is your singular. And the other alamat is for dual. Dual, when it is rafa, all of this is, I'm going to put here, I think it's in your drawing, yeah? So this is your marfu. Remember, I put here MR, marfu. This is mansub. And this is your majrur. And I said I put the M for a reason. There's a reason why I put M there. And we'll know why later on, yeah? So that's for singular. And the sign for dual is ani. Remember? Ani. Yeah. And then aini and aini. Or I put a Y, if you're not mistaken, instead of that, I put I. So these are your sounds that are the sounds that signify or signs that indicate to you that this is marfu, this is mansub, this is majrur. Yeah. This one you can only tell the difference from the context. Yeah. So this is dual. I'm talking about masculine, by the way. Yeah. And you can go back and see your notes how the feminine looks like. Yeah. So for plural, it's different. We said it was una, remember? And then ina and ina. So these are all your alamats. These can be seen. These can be seen. Okay, sorry, plural. What I mean by it cannot be seen and it's muqaddar. Muqaddar is if you have a word like Musa. Musa. Okay? Musa. So Musa, no changes at the end. Yeah, whether you don't have a Musu, you don't have a Musi, you only have a Musa. Yeah. So whether Musa is in marfu status, mansub status, or majrur status, you still see Musa. So you have to like pretend or acknowledge the fact that there's some changes going on at the end, but you can't see it because of this alif. Okay, so this is what I mean by muqaddara. And we're talking about alamat. Not talking about the Irab, not just talking about the status, yeah? It's the sign of that status. Yeah, one is obvious, zahir, the other one is not. It's implicit, it's built in. So if you had like Musa, Rasul, okay, how do you spell Rasul? Ra, Sin, Waw, Lam, okay? So Musa is a messenger. So in this case, we know that this is Rafa because it's the Mubtada. Mubtada, remember? And then if let's say we said, I saw, yeah? Ra'aitu. This one for you who are not familiar. How do we spell Ra'aitu? Like this, yeah? Ra'aitu Musa. This case, it is, who did I see? Musa. This is a detail, they call it. This is what is in mansub status. Yeah. So the first one is the doer. Remember the table I showed you, the doer, the done to. Yeah. And Musa is under the detail. Yeah, or the object. Who did I see? I saw Musa. Who did I hit? I hit Musa. Yeah, daraba Musa. And then, of course, we have this situation where maybe zahabtu. How do we spell zahabtu? I always get the ha mixed up. I think it's this way. Zahabtu ila. Yes, we have a half a job preposition here. Ila Musa. Should be majrur. It should be having a kasra. But because of the alif, I can't put a kasra. It's just impossible. I can't put a dhamma. I can't put a fatha. I can't put a kasra. So this is that one of those words that we classify as the sign is muqaddar, but the status is still the same. Marfu, mansub, majrur. Okay? Everyone understand that? Roughly?
Yes.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Sister Elaine, are you following? Hmm? Sort of.
What I hear you say is that some words like this name, this particular name, which ends in a alif,
Yeah.
can't you can't put in the normal
You can't put in the normal dhamma. You can't put in the dhamma hatha because it doesn't make sense. It's an alif. It's a vowel.
yeah, you can't go
Yeah.
move su, right? You cannot
Yeah.
change it to that because that would change the name of it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, but the status is changing. This is marfu, this is mansub, and this is majrur. Yeah, with a kasra. But it's just not there. You just can't see the wow and that and that. So that is muqaddara. Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, now let's move on to this definite, indefinite. What is of interest to me is the definite, yeah, because we only said it was alif, alam, and names. So now I'm going to give you the complete list. Alif, lam, proper name, we call it alamiyah. Proper name in Arabic is alamiyah. Pronouns, the doma'ir, yeah, the doma'ir. You know what pronouns are, right? He, she, they, those are pronouns, yeah, or whom, yeah, things like that. Isim ishara, your pointer words. We saw that, zalika, ulaika. Then we have something called isim mausul. I'm going to say something very brief about this. Okay, what's an isim mausul? What's an isim mausul? Okay, what's an isim mausul? We shall have a look here. So, now, an isim mausul is something that you use when you want to make a sentence part of another sentence. Okay, I'm going to do an English example because we're going to do this in Arabic later on. Just do an English example, okay? So perhaps I have something like this. I have a sentence. It says here, say, I am the editor and you've done some work for me. You've written a document for me and I'm telling you, to you, I said that the summary pleased me. No, you did it well. Pleased me. Okay. And then I also know that you wrote the summary. You wrote the summary. So this is two different sentences. Okay. An isim mausul in English is what they call a relative pronoun. Okay, a relative pronoun. Okay, we can go back, open your book on English grammar and figure out what relative pronoun is. But this is basically what it does. So I want to put a sentence within a sentence. So this is how I do it. I would say something like, summary that you wrote pleased me. Okay. So this that is your isim mausul, that relative pronoun. So see, this sentence has gone in. Yeah. The summary that you wrote pleased me. I've combined these two. I put this inside this sentence. Okay. So the relationship is of course there. You know that it's about the summary. What is it that pleased you is the way you wrote it. Yeah. So the summary that you wrote pleased me. So this is isim mausul in short. Yeah. We have also something called harfu mausul. I'm not going to go into this much. Yeah. Harfu mausul. This one does the same thing, but with a verb, just a verb. Okay, just a verb. And what it does is in both cases, here the isim also made a whole sentence behave like as if it is an isim, like a noun. Okay, here the harfu mawsu would take a verb and make it behave like a noun. At the end of the day, you have two nouns or two isims. One that was originally a sentence, two that was originally a verb. Okay, I'm going to say that just briefly. We'll do this in detail later on. Yeah, this is just one of those things that any language or the Arabic language, they have this technique where you can put a sentence into a sentence, and that sentence that you put inside the sentence is behaving just like a word, a single word. Same thing with the harfu mawsu. It takes an action and make that action look as if it's just a word. Okay, so this is what we call a masdari, a half masdari. Yeah. Okay, we'll see that later on, inshallah, and it'll become clearer. So here are the things that I said that are definite. And the one being called, a person who you call, is definitely someone you know. Yeah, but we'll go into detail later on this one. Same class, don't worry. Okay, now let's look at numbers. Singular, dual, and plural. And we were concerned about this. I'm just giving you examples. When it is a sound masculine plural, it will look something like this. Muslimuna. Remember our Muslim chart that I shared? Yeah. And then we have feminine sound, which is a true feminine, Muslimatun. But we can also have a fake feminine that is sound. Yeah. Like samawatun. These are your skies. Yeah. Then we have the broken plural. When I say sound, remember, yeah, the original word Muslimun is still intact. It's just the endings that you change. Yeah. When it's broken, the original word for man, Sister Asila, what's the original word for man?
Is it Muzakar?
Oh, no, I mean the actual word, the Arabic.
Rajulun.
Yeah, Rajul. Yeah, Rajulun. But when we look at the broken masculine, why we call it broken is we don't have the Raju anymore. It's Rija. Okay, so it's broken up. It's no longer, like in this case, Muslimun. So it's still intact. Muslima, Amuna, Muslimatun. Yeah, this is as-sama. So it becomes samawatun. Yeah, the sama is still there. But in this case, it was originally Rajul, but we have changed to Rijal. Yeah, so this is why we call it broken. Yeah, so that's masculine. Here it's feminine. When it is true, an example is like nisa'un. Yeah, nisa'un is a true feminine. This is women, biologically feminine. Yeah, true. Then we also have something called kutubun, books, which is definitely not female in the sense that we know, not biologically female. Yeah, not that. So here, something strange happens. Yeah. Oh, it's under plural. Plural, yeah, broken, feminine, but it's fake. It's not human. This, we treat it as singular. Okay? We treat this as singular, although it is plural, but because it is not true, we treat it as singular. It's one of those rules that you have to remember. Okay? A non-human broken plural is always treated as feminine and singular, even though in meaning it is plural. Okay? Need to remember this. Stick it there, stick on the wall somewhere. Non-human broken plural, feminine, singular, even though it means many. Okay? Even though it means many. Okay. Now, when you look at the different characteristics of a noun.
Sorry, before you
Yeah.
go.
Yes.
So, non-human broken plural is treated as a feminine.
Feminine
But
and
if
singular.
it's non-human plural but it's not broken, what happens?
Here, in this case,
Uh-huh.
this is sound, right?
Yeah. So it's still
It's
feminine?
it's still taken as feminine, and it's still taken as plural.
Okay.
Okay, many. This one singular. Yeah. All right. Now let's look at gender. So like I said, if it's not feminine, it's masculine. So it's more important to figure out what's feminine first, because this is our definition of masculine by process of elimination. Mu'annas, true again, and fake. So true is easy, as long as you know it's a real woman, a real lady. She's feminine, no doubt about that. Yeah, it's the fake part that is a bit dodgy. Now, what do we call fake feminines? Remember the because, one of the ones we saw before, because the Arab said so. Yeah, so that's one, but that's at the bottom of my list. These ones we saw the endings. Yes, just like Sister Bashira said, here's alif maqsura, here's alif mamduda. Yes, the long alif from the word mad. Yeah, mamduda. Maqsura short, as in qasr, as in when you do your prayers when you travel, when you're musafir, qasr. Yeah, maqsura, mamduda, and we have ta mabuta, the closed ta. Yeah, because from the word rabato, where we bring the two ends together and make it closed. Yeah. Then we have body parts in pairs. We treat this as feminine, but your head, ra'sun, your head, which is one head, we don't have two heads. Yeah, that one is treated as masculine. Yeah, but body parts in pairs like your eyes, your ears, all these are feminine. Proper names of places, Makkah. Yes, this is feminine. Inanimate plurals. Back to our non-human broken plural, remember? This is treated as feminine. And of course, because the Arab says so. Yeah, I had a table showing you what are the things that the Arab said are feminine. So you go back to that table to have a look at it, inshallah. Okay, now, finally, we address Irab. So I said, how do you pronounce this? Declinable, declinable? What's the proper way of pronouncing this? Could someone tell me? Elaine?
Indeclinable.
Decline. Okay, so declinable. Okay, declinable. Okay, but let's go use the Arabic terms. Mu'arab and mabni. Okay, mu'arab and mabni. Mabni means that you will only see that word in that shape and form. Yeah, you will only see the word in that shape and form. Mabni, fixed. Yeah, mu'arab is when it can change its status, and there are usually it can be seen, sometimes you can't. Okay, remember the alamat, you can either be zahir or muqaddar, but that is the sign. Yeah, but as far as the status is concerned, it's changing. Yeah, it's changing. So we said one is munsarif, and the other one, some books call it ghair munsarif. Yeah, some books call it mutamakkin amkan, and the other one call it mutamakkin ghair amkan. But these are all terms. As far as we're concerned, one can fully decline, the other one partly decline. And when we say partly, it means it cannot take kasra. Yes, it cannot take kasra. Okay, so what are these words? Now, this is, well, I warn you, this part, my ustad said, no, two of my sheikh said that this is actually the most difficult part of Arabic grammar. So if you can master this, you can master everything else. Okay, so although it's supposed to be the most difficult part, but actually it's not too difficult once you get the hang of it. Okay, so what is partly flexible? When does an isim behave more like a verb? Okay, we have actually four classifications. One is proper names. Two, adjectives. Remember the word was that I mentioned before, wasp, yes. And then feminine nouns ending with this, yes. Al-Maqsura, Al-Mamduda. This is the alif ta'nis that we are talking about. And plurals in the pattern of superplurals. Yes. The word is muntaha jam'un, I think jam'un. Yeah. Yeah. That one is like this is a lot. No, we're talking about the stars in the universe. A lot. Masabih. Yeah, a lot of stars in the universe. So these are the four categories where that you can consider the noun is partly flexible. Yeah. In this case, it only has to have this, and it's considered partly flexible. For these two cases, it must also be all these other things before it becomes partly flexible. Okay, what do I mean by that? Yes, it's a proper name, but for it to be mamnoon min al-sarf, it must be non-Arab. Okay, not just any name, because the name Muhammad is fully flexible. Muhammadun, Muhammadan, Muhammadin. Yeah, so it has to be a non-Arab name. Ibrahim, for example. So you will have Ibrahimu, Ibrahima, Ibrahima, because it cannot take kasra. Then it's a proper name and it's feminine. Okay, so Fatima, Zainab, and Talha. Okay, this is a man. Okay, so we have three classifications of feminine names. With the tamabuta, and it is truly feminine. No tamabuta, but it is feminine. Zainab is a lady. And Talha, it is with a tamabuta, considered as feminine, but this is a guy, obviously. Yeah, so we have three cases. Tamabuta, feminine. No tamabuta, feminine. Tamabuta, man. Okay, so this is what we mean by feminine names. Then names in the pattern of a verb. Ahmadu. No, to no, ha mim dal is to praise, right? Ahmadu. Yeah, Ahmadu is to praise or the praised. Yeah, Ahmadu is the most praised, basically, something like that. Yeah. Names ending with alif nun. Osman, Ramadan. Yeah, these are all partly flexible. No such thing as kasra. No kasra. Name in the pattern of Fu'alu, Umaru, Kuza. Yeah. And then compound names like Baklabika, yeah, Hadramaut. They are actually two separate words, yeah, green and death, but when it becomes Hadramaut, it becomes something else. Yeah. And we see this in English as well. Yeah, we see this in English as well. Then when it is an adjective, same conditions actually, pattern of a verb. Ahsanu, afdalu, akramu, ahmaru. Yeah, but this is describing a person. Yeah, not so much as the name. And same here, Ghadaban, no, or forever angry. Yeah, Shub'an, yeah, Rayyan, yeah. These are all how do you say emotions? Yeah, emotions. You can look up in the dictionary to find out what it means. Then words that has altered in pattern and becomes a bit different. Now, these are the only words that comes under this category of wasfiyah. And then these are the ones that we are considering as partly flexible. So not difficult to memorize. Yeah, musanna, sulasi, rubai, uhar. Yeah. So instead of 2, yeah, it's 9 or 3. Yes, it becomes musanna, sulasi, the second, the third, the fourth. Yeah, or the something. It changes from 2 to second, from 3 to third. Yeah, from 4 to fourth. So this sort of pattern is also considered partly flexible. So you don't really have to worry, because in the Quran, when you read a particular word, you know, if let's say you do a search for Ibrahim and Ibrahim comes out, then you have a look how it's treated. Then if you see that, I never see it with a kasra and I don't see it with a tanween, then you know that it is mamnu mina sarf, yeah, partly flexible. So this is more like a general guide for you, but to know whether a word is fully or partly flexible in the Quran is you look at it and you see how it's used in all the places that you can find in the Quran, yeah? And then from there you can see a pattern. Does it have kasra? Does it have tanween in any case? Yeah? So then you know, okay, it must be in one of these categories. Yeah? Then you come to this list and you check against this list. Okay, which one is it? Yeah, which one is it? Okay, just a few notes here. Names of the prophets that are munsarif. These are obviously, some of them are Arabic prophets, yeah, like Muhammad, Shu'aib, Salih. Yeah, these are people from the Arabic Peninsula. And then we have also those, because they have 3 letters, Nuhun, Lutun, they are also considered as munsarif, as long as it has 3 letters, yeah, Nuhun, Lutun. Nabi Lut, is he Arabic? Does anybody know? I always forget this part. Does anyone know? Sister Sultana, would you know?
What, sister?
Is Nabi Lut from the Arabic Peninsula? Was he considered an Arab? Or just Shu'aib?
Nabilullah.
Saleh?
There's 4 of them.
4, isn't it?
4,
Shu'aib,
Shuaib.
Shu'aib, Saleh, Muhammad, and one more? Noah or Hud or Lut?
No.
No?
Nuhun. With the
Nuhun.
center.
Oh,
Nuhun alayh.
okay, so Nuhun. Okay, all right. I'll double check that. Then there are other plural forms that mamnu min al-sarf. This one you will see when you see it being used. Okay, then you know, like ulama, you never see it with ulama'i. Anbiya, also you do not see it. Asiya'u, yeah. This is a way of remembering it. There's one sentence which Ustad Hashim came up with to make it easy for you to remember what are these words. Yeah, the prophets passed on the knowledge to the learned who taught things in schools using papers. Yeah, this madaris is more like this pattern, mafa'il. Yeah, similar to this. Qaratisu is more like this, but of course this one starts with a mim, this one starts with a qaf. Yeah, this one has more than the usual 3 root letters. This is qaf, ra, ta, and sin. Yeah, but the pattern is about there. Yeah, the sound is about there. So these are also words that are mamnu min al-sarf. Having said that, if these words are preceded by al, or if these words are mudaf, remember what mudaf is? We learned the possessive phrase, yeah, possessive phrase. Mudaf is the one being owned. Yeah, what is being possessed is the mudaf, not the owner, the one being mudaf. So when it is the mudaf, okay, yes, that's true. When it is mudaf, it is light. It is al, it is light, okay? But it becomes fully flexible. It can take a kasra. When I say it becomes, ceases to become mamnu min al-sarf, it means that it can take kasra. But it stays light. It stays light, yeah, because al, no tanwin, mudaf, also light. Okay, inshallah. Okay. Now let's look at this one, mabni. Now, why I need you to know what is mabni is because of the alamat that is muqaddara. Yeah, the alamat that is muqaddara. Remember I said mabni is a word that's fixed. It doesn't change. Yeah, it's always like that. It ends with a kasra, it ends with a dhamma. or it ends with a fatha. It doesn't change. So how are you going to differentiate that from a word like Musa, Isa, Maryam? Yeah? How are you gonna differentiate that? The only way you can do that is if you know your mabniyats, the ones that are truly fixed. That means not declinable, indeclinable. Once you know these, then if that word, like Musa, doesn't belong to this list, then Musa is still mu'rab. Yeah, I repeat. So a word like Musa, it doesn't belong to this list of mabniyat or mabni isms, then it is still mu'rab, even though it is partially declinable or totally not, no, can't see it, muqaddarah. The alamat is hidden because of the alif. It's still considered mu'rab because it doesn't belong to this list of mabni. Another process of elimination. Yeah. Okay. So what is mabni? Now, this list is going to look quite similar to something we saw earlier. Dama'ir, isim ishara, asma'u ishara, asma'u mawsula. This is new, okay? Now, these are actually isms, but they, how do you say? They are actually actions. Amin, hayya, shattan, yeah? Now, Amin, when you finish your Surah Al-Fatiha, hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah, yeah? They are isms, but they depict actions. I've forgotten what shattan is. I'll come back to you on that one, yeah? Then we have question words. Question words. Question words except for ayu. You know that word ayu? Now ayu can be mu'rab. Yeah, but usually question words that are isms are mabni. And then isim shart, this one also conditional isms, yeah, like in. Oh no, that's half. Conditional isim like iza. Then here muraqqabah. These are normally numbers. When we learn numbers, inshallah, if we have the time, when we do the numbers, then we know what we mean by this. Of course, huruf, all of these are isms. Everything else after this are not isms, yeah? Harfs are definitely mabni. They always come in that form. And then your commands, now we're going into the verbs, yeah? We're going into verbs. Some verbs are always mabni. This is commands. Past tense is always mabni. And then certain present tense. Why do we say this? Because of something that we attach at the end of that verb. When we attach that thing to the end of the verb, you only see what you attach. Yeah. So what do we attach it with? When we have what we call the noon that emphasizes. We see this in the Quran a lot. The noon shadda. Or the noon that depicts feminine. Yeah. We will see this when we do fi'ils. We will look at this deeper when we see fi'ils. Yeah, but for now, look at all the isms up here. Some of it is the same as the isms that were meant to be under which category? Can you remember? Dama'ir, isim ishara, isim mausula. Sister City, do you remember? Pronouns are also under which of these? Can you remember? Yeah, good. Alhamdulillah. Under definite, yeah? So they have that same characteristic. They are mabni and they're also definite. Okay. Now, the list goes on, but I don't want to overwhelm you too much, yeah? So in some cases of isim la, this la is what we call categorical negation. We will see this in a while. And in some cases of munada, not all people you call, yeah, not all people you call will be mabni. There are some cases of munada that is mu'rab. But when we say it's mu'rab, it's always mansub. Okay, mudadas are always mansub, but it's still mu'rab because we use the term mansub. Yeah, we don't say fi mahali nasab. We say mansub. Then there are miscellaneous nouns. Yeah, like jairi, qatami, hazami. This one are feminine names. This will be similar to the names that we have in English. When we say someone is Mary or someone is David, it doesn't change. It's always Mary, it's always David. We don't have, Marian or Davidun. Yeah, we don't have that. We have Mary, David. So certain names in Arabic are like that. This doesn't mean that it's majrur. It's just that the sound is qatami, hazami. Yeah. This one, jairi, is a way to say na'am. Yes. Another way of saying yes in Arabic. Yeah. So there are miscellaneous nouns because remember this is a language. Yeah? No hard fast rules in language except what they can make. Okay, there are rules that grammarians have come up with so that we don't go totally berserk. Berserk when we learn a language. We should have some rules. Okay, but because it's a language, there are some things that is just there because that's how people use it. Yeah. And here, zuruf, remember zarf. We will get into this when we go into sarf. Yeah, sarf. When we do sarf, we will apply the patterns of the different fi'ils, and then we also learn a bit more about things like al-an, which means now, is, yeah, when. Yeah, these are zarfs. Because this one, zarfs, will always go back to either time or place. Okay. Right. I'm going to take just a short breather a bit. I'll come. Okay, any questions before we go to things that go light? So far, so good, inshallah. Okay. So what do I mean by things that go light? Words that end with no tanween, no n sound. Yeah. So instead of an, it's just a. Instead of in, it's just e. Instead of un, it's just u. Okay. So things that go light. So the one that I keep on mentioning is the mudaf. The mudaf is without alif lam and it is always light. So this belongs to what we call a possessive phrase. A possessive phrase is also known by the term idafa. Idafa. Yeah. Your mudaf ilai is related to your mudaf in some way. Okay, in some way. There is an attachment there. There's an attachment there. So the word before of, this is what this is a good way of remembering what the mudaf is. It's not always the word before of. There are some mudafs which we call special mudafs, yes, that do not come before of. But still there is that element of possession. Yeah, like kullu shay'in. Yeah, kullu shay'in is one example. Kul being used as a mudaf, and we don't mean that it is all of. Yeah, we don't say all of. We usually say everything or each of something. Yeah, that's the word of there. So one example here is Maliki Yawmiddin. This one is from Surah Al-Fatiha. And Sister Shahida, do you know how do we translate this normally? Maliki Yawmiddin. Sister Shahida, are you there? Yeah. How do you translate it? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. In English, I mean.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Sorry?
I'm not sure.
Oh, you're not sure. Okay. Anybody can help Sister Shahida out? Malik Yawmiddin?
The owner of the day.
Yeah, the owner of the Day of Judgment. Okay. Din is another name for the Day of Judgment. Yeah. This is when your religion comes, I mean, the truth of your religion really becomes, is realized. Yeah, is really realized. So, Malik is not king. Yeah, Malik is, without the alif, is king. But Malik is the one who owns. Yeah, so the owner of the Day of Judgment. So this is actually two mudafs here. This is the first one, and this is the second one. Yeah. So in this case, this is the mudaf, and this is its mudaf ilay. But this mudaf ilay is also a mudaf, and it has its own mudaf ilay. Yeah. So we have two mudafs here. So this will always be light. Yeah. This will always be light. Yeah. And whether it is the or a will depend on the mudaf ilay. If the mudaf ilay is al, then this is the owner of the day. If it is not al, it's just with tanwin, yeah, it is nin, for example, then it will just be a. Yeah, it will just be a. So what else goes light? The one being called munada. Not just any munada. There are 5 cases of munada. We learn this later. Maybe not even in this course, maybe in another course. Yeah, but I'll just recap it in the English way. When he is known, yes, someone you know, like Ya Zaidu. Zaidu, not Ya Zaidan. Sorry, not Ya Zaidun. Yeah, it's a Zaidu. By the way, although it is Zaidu with a dhamma, it is actually mabni. And we say it's mabni ala dam fi mahali nasab, because the munada is always mansub or nasab. Okay, mansub or nasab. Because who are you calling? So it has to be a detail. It has to be an object. So it's either mansub or fi mahali nasab. So when you say ya zaidu, although there's a dhamma, it's not marfu. It's just mabni ala dam with a sign of dam. And it's still in the slot of nasab. Okay. Elaine, what do you understand from that? You okay with that?
No.
No, you're not okay with that. Okay, I don't expect you to say yes anyway. This one comes on later. Yeah, this one will come later. But just know that since you're going to ask the question, who are you going to call? No, not the Ghostbusters. This one, another, when he is known. Yeah, this one, when you ask the question who, then it becomes the object. Yeah? Who are you asking about? So whenever it is an information like that, the status of information in a sentence is always mansub or nasab. Okay, just remember that. Detail information of who's doing it, where it's being done, all of this will be mansub or nasab. Ya Adamu anbihum. Yes, when Adam was asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to name all the names that he has taught him. Yeah. When he is a specific unknown person. What do I mean by this? I don't know his name. He's in front of me and I'm asking him for help. Ya rajulu sa'adani. Yeah. Oh man, please help me. Yeah. So in this case, it's also like no tanwin. Yeah. But here also, it's still mabni ala dam fi mahali nasab. And the final case, when he is a mudaf. Ya ahlal kitabi. Ya ahlal kitabi. Then he is also light. There's no ahlan. Yeah, no ahlan. Because we already said mudaf is always light with no alif lam. Yeah, so that's why. Now here, sorry, sister, was one of the sisters left just now? Sister Zafir, is it? I have not much. No. So now let's look at the third case. When it's mamnu min nafsah, because we already said that when it is partly flexible, it cannot accept tanwin. So things go like, so ala Maryama, not Maria. In the first case, it should be Maryamin, but because mamnu min nafsah, it is Maryama, it cannot accept kasrah. And on top of that, it's not Maryamin, it's Maryama, no, not Maryaman. Why? Because it cannot accept tanwin. Okay, right. Sister Asila, can you tell me again what are the two properties of partly flexible isim?
The two properties of a partly flexible. The two properties, oh my god.
Of a partly flexible isim.
Properties means what? I know it's like,
Why do we call it mamnu min nasab? Because it cannot.
because it doesn't take kasrah
And
and it doesn't take al, no, right?
and it cannot take tanwin. Yeah, it
Okay.
cannot take tanwin. Okay. So in these two cases, we see Makkata. This is bibatni. Bibatni is in the heart of Makkah. Yeah, in the heart of Makkah. B is your half of jar. That's why this is majrur. Yeah, but this batni is light because it's mudaf. Yeah, it's light, it's mudaf. This should have been, if it was a normal isim, Makkatin. Makkatin, yeah. But because it is partly flexible, cannot take tanwin, it becomes Makkati, no tanwin, and then because it cannot take kasrah, it goes up, becomes Makkata. Yeah, should have been Makkatin, but cannot take tanwin, should be Makkati, but then it cannot take T either, so it becomes Makkata. Right? Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, now here the isim of la. The most famous example I can think of. La ikraha fiddin. La ikraha fiddin. It is not only light, it is also mansub. This is one of the properties of the isim of la. When you see something like this, the translation is, there is no compulsion of any kind in our deen. Yeah, there is no compulsion of any kind in our deen. Absolutely no compulsion. Yeah, this is the special thing about this la. And it only happens in a jumla ismiyah. And usually you have this isim that is nasab and light and followed by jar wa majrur. This is the normal pattern. La, isim that is light and mansub, and then followed by jar wa majrur. Normally, yeah, this is the pattern. Okay, so that's that. Alhamdulillah. Slowly, slowly. Yeah, we'll do this again and again because this is just a roadmap of where we are going. Then I'll do this. First four phrases, we did this before. I just want to remind you what are the four phrases that we have. Yeah. And then I'm going to give you homework. All right, I'm going to give you homework. I'm afraid I have to give you homework. If not, it won't sink in if I don't give you homework. So you need to do some homework, and if we come back and discuss that homework when we come back from our break. Yeah. So what did I say about Mausuf and Sifah? Muhammadun as-Sadiq. I said that in this case, all four properties match. G-I-N-G match. They have to match. Then it is called descriptive because you're describing this thing. The description that you use must be identical to the thing that you describe. And then I said there was another case where you don't have to match in any way, which is your mudaf ilayh. Yeah, because the thing being possessed and the possessor or the owner do not have to match. Do not have to match. But your mudaf, the thing being possessed, must be light with no alif lam, and who's the owner has to be majroor. What are the three things? Mudaf, no alif lam, light, followed by majroor. Then is your possessive phrase. Okay. Can you repeat that, Sister Ralin? What did I just say about mudaf and mudaf ilay? Sister Ralin? Yeah.
Um, about the
How do you recognize that it is an
it has no al
no al?
and light
Light, yes. Followed by
by jar.
by jar, yeah, something that is majroor. Yes, Sister Fatima?
I can Sada, when you say light, do you mean by when you say light, what do you mean by that?
Light meaning there is no tanween.
Okay.
No nun sound, yeah, no nun sound. No n. Yeah, that's light. Alhamdulillah.
Exactly.
Yeah, sometimes we seem to associate light with nasab. Yeah, but actually it's nasab is the ah sound, yeah, depending on where you are, whether it's dual or plural or singular. Okay. So now we have the third phrase, which is ismun isharatun wa musharun ilay. Oh wow, that's long. And I said this too also has to match, just like your mawsuf and sifa, must be identical. But the only difference between this and this is what it is describing is limited. It's only the ismun isharatun. Yeah. And this is only demonstrative when there is alif lam. Why? Because it has to match. So we know hazihi, we saw in our charts before this, remember the flow chart. Hazihi is always ma'rifah. Remember? Always definite. We saw that. Yeah. I think Sister Siti said that as well. Yeah, it's always definite. So this also has to be definite. Then and only then is this a phrase. If it is not the case of matching 100% and there's no alif lam, this is no longer a phrase. It becomes a sentence. So instead of this message, it becomes this is a message. It is actually what we call a jumlah ismiyah. Yeah, a jumlah ismiyah. So we must be very careful about this. Only when they match in all four properties is this a phrase. Otherwise, it's a sentence. Then the last one is the prepositional phrases we saw. The one with jar, this is half, and this is isim. This is actually basically also an idafa, yeah, because it no alif lam, light, followed by jar. But your mudaf is special. Your mudaf is special because your mudaf is actually zarfs. It tells you when and where. Yeah. So this is why it's still under prepositional phrases. Because remember, prepositions also tell you where and when. So that's why we put this together. Yeah, we put this together and we call them shibhul jumlah. We call them shibhul jumlah. Yeah. This will be muta'alliq to something. Yeah? It will be connected to something in the sentence, which we will learn later. Now, the next two slides are what I've told you I would give you. You can have a look at them, on your own sweet time. Ask me questions if you don't understand. Yeah, it's basically when you point at something near and when you point at something far, and whether the one who's doing the pointing is the thing that is being pointed is masculine, or the thing that is being pointed to is feminine. Yeah, and whether it's one thing, two things, or a whole lot of things. Yeah, so these are things that you need to memorize. You just have to go back home and remember haza, hazani, haulai, hazihi, hatani, haulai. Yeah, zalika, zanika, ulaika. All this, tilka, tanika, ulaika. Just memorize. When you do your chores at home, keep on memorizing. Okay, this is one. And the other one, I said I would give you a list of half of jars. Yeah, so these are the half of jars that you find in the Quran. Mind you, there are other half of jars. Yeah, but the ones that you find in the Quran are these. And your homework, not difficult. I just want you to do all this. And I only have 3 ayah. Okay, 3 ayah. So you need to tell me where are the phrases, the one that we saw just now, the mawsuf sifa, yeah, the isim ishara with the musharun alayh, yeah, whether it's a shibhu jumla and things like that. Then which one are the isims that can decline, which are the isims that cannot decline, and then which isims are light, the one without tanween, yeah, and then say why. Say why. Then we'll go through it together. So I hope the group leader is Sister Asila, do you think any problems here for you? Should be okay.
Must I know the answers?
No, you don't need to know the answers.
Okay.
But those who are, please just make sure that they are on track, meaning
Okay,
that they are
sure.
actually doing the homework, and then we will go through together. Yeah, we go through together. So because if you don't try it, yeah, you just wait for me to do it. Yeah, you don't think about it. Yeah, at the end of the day, you don't think about it. So you really need to sit down and chew through. Yeah, chew through what it is. Why is this? Why do I say this is this? Yeah, need to think about it. These are really nice verses to look at. Yeah. Okay, Sister Bashira, you're all right with this? You can do this, I think. You're well versed, inshallah. Is there anything here that you don't understand?
I'm okay, I think.
You say okay, yeah. So light isims, the ones with no tanween. This is the mabni ones. These are the mu'rab ones. And these are the 4 phrases that we looked at just now. Yeah, 4 phrases that we looked at just now. Okay, my dear sisters, I wish you all the best, inshallah. Don't worry, we'll go through this together, inshallah. Yeah, and then we will go into fi'ils. Yeah, fi'ils is a different world altogether, inshallah. You need to know your pronouns. So we'll do the pronouns first, and then we'll do the fi'il. Yeah, and then only we can do more of sentence exercises and know what the structure of an Arabic sentence is like, inshallah. Okay then. Subhanallah wa bihamdik. Nash'adu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاك الله خيرا كثيرا.
خير.
Amin wa yakum. Barakallahu fikum.